One of the busiest stretches of roads in County Mayo is the N5 between Castlebar and Westport. And along the route there's a sign for Jack's Cottage. And like so many drivers travelling that road, I've always wondered, what is Jack's Cottage? Well, we've come here to find out. Joe, I love the smell of a turf fire when you come into a house. What is the history of this place?
Well, this house was built in 1830. It was lived in continuously up until 1997, and there was never a child born in the house.
Why is that?
Well, what happened at this time, there was, I don't know if you have heard of the tinker. There was a tinker's curse put on the house, where the tinker would come around, he'd come to every house, and you would give him or her something. And when the tinker woman came to this house, they didn't give her any tea or sugar or eggs or whatever it may be. And when she was leaving the door, she said, needless to say, she wasn't very impressed. So she turned back and she said, there'll never be an heir or anybody to follow the name. Mm-hmm. So when I got this house, I had heard the stories, so I checked the census, and there was definitely never a child born into this house.
Wow.
For the duration of the time.
Yeah. So when you bought the house, what kind of condition was it in?
Oh, it was in very poor condition. It had been closed up for 10 years before we got it, and the roads and the whole structure of the whole place had kind of collapsed. And we got some advice from the county council and different people around that had the knowledge in what we should do. And from being told, hit it a belt of a bucket, which meant flatten it to the ground, to don't disturb the stone. So we got the bucket, but we cleaned around it with the machine, and we didn't disturb the stone. So we kept restoring it back to what I remember when I was going to school in the 1950s. Every house in this area looked like this, but it had a thatched roof.
And why did you want to buy it?
Well, to show the younger generation how I lived, because the next generation coming up will have to read what I'm telling you from a book. I have lived through it, so I can remember all of this out of my head.
And you have some amazing artefacts here. I mean, where did you get all the material for the house? Because this would have been, a lot of the stuff you have here would have been in the house in the 1940s and 50s.
It would have been. When we came here, there wasn't any of this here at all. It had all been taken away or gone, or stolen, or whatever it may have happened to it. And people who come in, like yourself in right now, and you would be talking about this, and before you'd leave, you'd say, well, do you know, Joe, I have something at home that would suit here. And that's how most of the stuff came here. There's a great community involvement in what we do here.
Yeah. And do you get a lot of visitors coming?
A lot of visitors come in having a look and see what we're doing here. And some of them thinks, I suppose, that I'm mad in the head. Yeah. But this is what I like doing, and I could spend all day talking to you about all the old times and all the old ways and how things were done.
Okay, Joe, can we have a look at some of the artefacts here? Because there would have been part of a house in the 1940s. For instance, the spinning wheel.
The spinning wheel would be a great part of the houses, because we all would have sheep and wool, and everything was knitted.
And I know that from houses, a lot of houses still have the dresser.
Yes.
There with all the delf on it.
And the old willow patron.
Yeah, this is what fascinates me here. This bed here in the kitchen.
Or the collar, as we call it here.
Yeah.
The outshot. It was the first extension that was put onto a house, and it's basically, most of the country has what they call a settle bed, but here in Mayo we have the little built into the hole of the wall, as some call it.
And who would have slept in that now?
The granny.
Oh,
the old woman
yes.
would have slept there, and it's very small. But most of the people at that time would have slept sitting up. Because of this, what we are here today, you mentioned the smoke.
The smoke, the fire.
When you came in, and there'd be sometimes if the wind was...
And the kettle would have been boiled on that, hanging from that. The potatoes, the bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know them all, Henry.
I know them all. And this, what I love, I have to put a sod on the fire. And it's good black turf as well.
It's very good turf.
Look at that, boy.
We were a few months in the bog trying to get that dry and ready for the fire.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fantastic. When night stirred its sea, and the fire brought a crowd in,
They say that her beauty was music in mouth, and few in the candlelight thought her too proud, for the house of the planter is known by the trees. Men that had seen her drank deep and were silent. The women were talking wherever she went, as a bell that is rung, or a wonder told shyly. And oh, she was the Sunday in every week.
Joe, of course, all these houses in their day, they were open houses. Neighbours and friends used to come in regularly.
All the neighbours would come in to a different house, different nights. And what it would be, they'd be telling stories, singing songs and play a few tunes. And that would go on to the all hours of the night.
And of course, when there was a wedding in the village, that was a big occasion.
It was. And what happens there was, and we have some of them here, the straw boys would come. And if you weren't invited to the wedding, you would put on this hat and you came in and you wouldn't be known. It was the first form of gate crashing. And we have one of the hats here that was used at that time.
Well, I wonder now, will I have to wear one then tonight? Because I believe there's a rambling house in full swing tonight. You have a Caleb. We're lucky to be here tonight.
Very lucky to be here tonight. We have a rambling house going in the back.
Right.
And, you won't have to wear one of those because you're invited to come.
Well, that's
tonight.
great. I'm looking for. I might even step it out tonight.
And I think you're well fit to do it.
Well, let's go and have a look at the rambling house.
Lovely, Henry.
All right. Okay. And will you be able to show me a few steps tonight, Joe?
You know what, it might be very good, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, well, shall we both try it out anyway?
Both of us will try it out.
All right, let's hope. I can hear the music already. What a great performance from Matt Dillon and his son Conor. And of course, Matt is one of the best known singers on the Irish music scene, not just here in Mayo, but all over the country. And we wish him well and continued success. And I have no doubt his son will follow in the footsteps. Now I'm joined by Sister Maureen Lally, who's very involved in rural development here in County Mayo. You're very welcome indeed to Fáilte Roth. What does your work entail, Sister Maureen?
Well, my work really entails working at the grassroots of things, working with rural families, rural people, and people are at the hub of development. And this is why I have always been very committed to this work. And I grew up in this area on a small farm, and I, from a very early age, seem to have appreciated the importance of rural and the rural farm, the values that were passed on. I worked very closely, I had no brother, so I worked very, very closely with my father because I had an interest in the land. And I think I did see then how important it was to help farmers who were working so hard. And I was very fortunate that as I grew up, and actually I went into the convent, and I was lucky to be able to go to further training to work with rural communities, which I enjoy very much.
Now, we hear so much, Sister Maureen, about rural Ireland, the decline of rural Ireland, post offices, pubs, Garda stations closing. What is the actual situation from your perspective?
Well, I think the reality is that we're allowing it to happen, that it is actually happening. And I think we're not looking at it as people, rural people. And while we see at other school closes and other post office goes, you see it's more than the closure of a service that it has been providing. It's really putting a nail on our coffin, and it's really beginning to take the life and the energy out of villages in rural Mayo and rural Ireland. We need to get out there into the villages and work with people. My conviction always has been that people are the most important part of the development. The projects we do and all that are very important, but unless we help the people to help themselves, give them more confidence, do training in the whole area of leadership, because if the community, no matter what project they have, if the communities are not behind it, if they're not driving it, and if we don't have their spirit and energy, we're losing out very, very much. We are blessed with our cultural heritage, with all that's here from scenery, and I think this is one of the good things. We are involved ourselves in developing a heritage walk which goes from Ball to Croppatrick, and we have researched the heritage. We have people telling the stories, and we are serving up our lovely homemade breads and cakes and putting new energy back into into the villages, into the people, but we must really value them. And we do that best when we engage with them and listen to what they're saying, not what we're saying.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, Sister Maureen, and thank you very much for joining us.
Collins Music Castlebar, suppliers of musical instruments and books for over 100 years.
I'll never forget the day that I strolled down by the mountain road, all dressed up in my Sunday clothes and leaving my abode. I drove my cow, I don't know how, but myself I did enjoy. I was thinking of the day that I'd have at the fair in Glenamoy. The colleens from the glens around, they gathered one and all. So I took a chance to have a dance that night in Healy's Hall. I made a vow to sell my cow myself for to enjoy. With the colleens fair who gathered there that night in Glenamoy. There were colleens from Barushki and from Balderrick too. There were colleens from Rathhaviskeen where they make the mountain dew. There were colleens from Portolan and more from Portacloy. Oh, hadn't we a lovely blend that night in Glenamoy? 'Twas there I met my Nelly, she was my heart's delight. I danced with her and I courted her until the broad daylight. Then she told me that she loved me and I was her fair-haired boy. I took my darling Nelly home from the fair at Glenamoy. Well, now we're very happy in a cottage of our own. While I work out on the farm, sure Nelly she minds the home. Well, we are 9 months married and we have a lovely boy. So I don't regret that old cow that I sold at the fair in Glenamoy.
What a great rendition of an old Irish ballad sung by the one and only Sean Hegarty, The Fair of Glenamoy. And no doubt our viewers at home enjoyed that just as much as all our guests here in Jack's Old Cottage. Well, time for our next guest now. She's a retired teacher, a native of the parish. Noreen Sadler, you're very, very welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Henry.
Since you retired from school teaching, you've got very involved in heritage, and of course there's a lot of heritage in this area.
Of course there is, yes. When I was in my 20s, we say, I got a book and it was all about what's to be seen in Mayo. So I went very quickly to Eileen Eadie and it said, there's nothing of any great interest here And I was so disappointed, so I sort of made it a live campaign. Surely there must be things. And it's very interesting, all the things we have here.
Yeah, so what have you discovered in this area?
Well, you have the track of different generations and centuries. And you can imagine yourself, for instance, on the top of Sheon Hill, looking out over the bay, watching Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen, as she sails out. Maybe in a different era, watching for raiding Viking ships coming in. It was a great vantage point, and you lit a fire there, and the whole county could see that fire and know there was danger. If you came in another generation, you could go have a medieval barbecue, because we have deer pits full of the fia, where they roasted the deer, and the whole village gathered around. And I'm sure they had the crack in those days too, Henry.
And there's famous woods as well associated with the area.
Very close to here, you have beautiful Rahens Woods. In springtime, they're full of bluebells to glad the eye.
So that has to be good for the area.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Our B&Bs are developing all the time. And what's the place to come? We've got lakes, we've got hills, we've got little boreens and roads to walk. What's not to like, Henry?
You've convinced us, and I'm sure you've convinced people at home as well. Thanks very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, I hope you're all enjoying the show, the music and the singing. My final guest is a well-known politician from this area, Mark McLaughlin. You're welcome indeed to the programme.
Thanks very much.
You've a big area to cover as a councillor, haven't you?
Yes, indeed, I have. I'm a councillor, first of all, for Castlebar Municipal District, and that'd be my area of direct responsibility. But I have a dual role, so I'd be a county councillor as well for the entire county of Mayo. And it's a busy job, and I'm delighted to get the opportunity to serve.
So you're very much into the face of rural Ireland. You know what's happening in rural Ireland, and we hear so much about it. Is it in decline as far as you're concerned?
Well, statistics will show that. We're one of 3 counties in Ireland that have a decreased population by 3%. So it's a worrying trend, and it's something that we would like to stall and certainly reverse.
Well, you're a politician, so it's nearly up to you and people like you to do something to help rural Ireland. And what can you do?
Indeed, it won't be solved by any one thing, but I believe it's doable, and there's a lot of things happening as we speak. We would see tourism as a way forward in stalling rural decline, and to bring people back to our small towns and our small village and our rural community.
You see a bright future for young people to stay here in the rest of Ireland?
Yes, I see it long term. I see it long term. I think it is. I think that there is a future. A lot of people have immigrated because of the bad years and the recessionary years. A lot of them people are returning now, and they're returning with a lot of them with money that they can invest, and they're doing that, and there's evidence of that. They're also returning with the experience of being away, and they have seen what has happened in other countries. And you know, there's a great pride in Mayo people, and you know, this Ma'ach Féin, my place, my county, and it's certainly heartwarming. And they talk about Mayo and investing back in Mayo, and many of them have done that. So there is, to answer your question, there is a future for Mayo, and I think we're maybe turning the corner around that. And I believe that there is a very bright future in Mayo, and we're working towards that.
At the Cork exhibition, there was a young lady. Her fortune exceeded $1 million or more. But a bad constitution had ruined her completely, and medical treatment had failed o'er and o'er. Musha mother, says she, sure I know what will ease me and cure this disease which is threatening to kill. Give over your doctors, your medical treatment. I'd rather one squeeze out a bounty. The kill Irish. For Owen, for football, sporting, for drinking black porter as fast as you can. In all your days roving, you'll find them so jovial as a Boundary sportsmen, the Bounty Quail. Shannon Mage.
What a wonderful character, Michael Fitzsimons and his great version of the Bow Teddy Quill. Well, it's almost time for us to go, but before that, a special word of thanks to all our musicians, our singers, our dancers, our guests, and our fabulous audience here in Jack's Old Cottage. And to you at home for watching. We hope you enjoyed this show. Alright, it's time for us to join Alan Williams, who's in the gym this week with some exercise tips.
Hi folks, today we're in the gym. So what I want to talk about today is the importance of progression in your training. You'll find when you start off first, you're probably going to see huge results if you're starting from a complete beginner's level, but that result is going to taper off pretty quick and you're going to start needing to do something else to actually keep your results coming. So it's absolutely brilliant if you're at that stage where you're beginning and maybe you might be running, you might have got it to 5k, you might be doing a little bit of gym work and everything is going great, but then there's going to come a leveling off and you're going to start getting frustrated, and that's the point people usually struggle with, and sometimes we get people giving up. So I'm going to tell you today how you're going to get over that. If we can keep progressing our training, then your results are going to keep coming. But you can't say, oh well, this is what's got me this far, so I'm going to keep doing it. If you're running your 5k at the moment, fantastic, but maybe you could look at, can you run that 5k faster or can you go a little bit further, okay? So progression is key. Same as if you're in the gym. Can we lift a little bit heavier? Can we do a few more reps? Can we mix things up a little bit? I would always say, even with your gym work, even every 6 to 8 weeks, try and change your program. Don't get it repetitive because the body reacts so quickly. The body adapts very, very quickly. So to keep the body guessing, you're going to have to keep changing up your program. And if you can keep the body guessing, then you're going to keep getting your results. So progression is really, really important. I had a client actually who came to me once and she had said to me that she started off doing 10 laps of a GA pitch. She was walking it and she clocked it on her Garmin or whatever it's called, and she was saying, you know, she had calculated that she had lost X amount of calories. So what she had worked out then was if she did that walk 5 times a week, then she was going to burn this amount of calories and everything was going to be great. But what she didn't take into account was the first time she did that walk, she burned this amount of calories because her body wasn't used to it and her fitness levels weren't as high. But the 10th time she does that same walk, she's fitter, her body is adapted, there's going to be a lot less calories burned. So therefore it's not going to be as effective as it was initially. So it's really, really important that you keep progressing your training, keep raising the bar. Don't be happy to stay at where you're at. If we can keep progressing that and you find yourself getting fitter and stronger, the body takes care of itself from there. You're going to physically be in much better shape, you're going to be much healthier, you're going to feel a lot happier and feel a lot more energetic in yourself. So if you're looking to get into a gym, start basic. Don't load up a big bar like this. Get an instructor. That's what they're there for. So talk to people who work in the gym. They're always happy to help. They'll start you at a basic level. Don't be intimidated. That's the one big thing people find in gyms. They go in and they're looking around and they think everybody here is in great shape and I'm the odd one out. Every single person I think that walks into a gym at the start feels like that. So don't worry about it. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you're doing. Nobody's watching you. Start small and you build it up from there. But keep that progression going. The progression is what's going to get you to where you want to be. So all the best with it, guys. And as always, if you need any help, get in touch. That's what I'm there for. Or even the local instructors in your area, get in touch with them, okay? And we'll talk again next week.
A very warm welcome to the Irish in the UK. Coming up on the show this week, we are in Leicester at the Emerald Centre to celebrate 10 years of existence. We're also back in Manchester to catch up with Rob Lally, who is a mosaic artist, and we'll be in Nottingham for a very special musical concert. So sit back and we really hope you enjoy the show. Now, a couple of weeks back, we were in Leicester to celebrate 10 years of the Emerald Centre, and what a wonderful day it was. Olivia, tell me a little bit about what's happening here today.
So today the Ladies Gaelic Football Team and the Emerald Centre are hosting Gig on the Gort Festival. It's a festival in celebration of 10 years of the Emerald Centre, and we've got a wide range variety of music and performances. We've just got some Irish dancers on as we speak. The Ladies Gaelic Football Team have come together, and we've really wanted to come together with the Emerald Centre to celebrate their 10th birthday.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day here for the centre, and what a glorious sunshine day as well.
Oh, we're so lucky with the weather. It was one thing that we were obsessively looking at all for the past couple of weeks, ever since we've been organising it, really.
Yeah. And of course it's a great day for the Gaelic football and Irish people involved with Gaelic football as well here in Leicester.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had some of the youth Gaelic football teams had a game earlier, and obviously the weather is beautiful for them. We've got some of the men's Gaelic football team coming down. Unfortunately, the ladies haven't been able to play today because we've been here organising it, but yeah, if we were to have a kick about, it would be a great weather.
I take it you're heavily involved with the GAA as well?
Yes, yeah. So I'm the team secretary for Leicester Ladies GAA. I've been playing, for about 6 years now, and I've been the secretary for about 4. I absolutely adore the sport, and I do everything I do is for the love of the sport and for the love of the centre, really.
Okay, Mary, now tell me a bit about Niamh Pádraig Ladies GAA.
Yes, well, this year in Leicester, the GAA is celebrating 70 years of GAA in Leicester, and the girls have been running. We used to have a young island team at first, and then that kind of demolished when the ladies were having babies and things like that and work commitments. And then 10 years ago, once the Emerald Centre reopened because it was used to be called Lisca, the ladies set up Niamh Pádraig as well alongside the men's teams. The men have 2 teams, the first team and the reserves. The ladies have a team and the youngsters as well.
How difficult is it to keep Gaelic football alive in Leicester?
It can be difficult because obviously we've got players coming and going, because we get a lot of players over from Ireland for work commitments, and then they, after 3 years, sometimes go to university as well. After them 3 years they go back to Ireland, and then we lose really good players. And then it can be a struggle, but we do get there.
So what league do you play in down here?
It's the Warwickshire League, so we play Nottingham, Coventry, Birmingham and ourselves.
Excellent. Well, it's a credit to you both, the wonderful day you've put on here today. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Tony, a wonderful day here for the Emerald Centre.
Fantastic. It's great to celebrate 10 years of being here in this part of the city with a fantastic range of Irish music, Irish dancing. We're having a great day. The weather's been kind to us, and we're having a great day, as you say.
Now, tell me a little bit about the centre itself. Of course, it's been 10 years open.
It is. 10 years, we've got some funding from the Emigrant Support Programme, which helps us to continue the work that we do. We work with Irish senior citizens, we have luncheon groups, we have Irish dancing classes, we have Irish speaking classes, as well as the Gaelic sports that take place here with youngsters, Gaelic women's sports teams and the men's teams as well. So it's a great centre to be at.
Yeah, and you've had a great Irish feel to it here today with so much going on.
We have. We're blessed with the weather. Father Lally, I think, said a few prayers for us, who's our secretary, and we've got a great day, and all the teams are represented here, and yes, it's great.
Now tell me about the presentation that just took place there on stage.
Well, the Danahan Walsh Cup is a cup that goes to someone who's had outstanding value to the Irish community over the years, and this year it was given to Tony Smith, who's standing next to me, and it's a worthy winner of it. He's been involved with the Gaelic sports right through I've known him for the last 30 years, I think, in this city. He's played sports for the Gates at Columkills. He's now doing Irish dancing, and he also helps with all of the training that takes place with the youngsters and the senior teams as well.
Well, Tony, congratulations on your lovely award there. How long have you been in Leicester?
50 years last Tuesday.
And tell me where you come from.
I come from Crossmline in County Mayo.
Now, you've played Gaelic football, you've done lots of things here. Just tell me a little bit about what you've got involved in down the years.
Well, when I first come here, I was just involved with playing mostly. I didn't do much of the coaching. It's just a question of, we had a brilliant team in the late 60s, early 70s. We won sevens all over this Shire and Lincoln, Derby, Lancashire. We had a fantastic time. I can remember we won our own in about in the 72, and there was nearly 500 people around the perimeter, so it was a great time. As time went on, obviously slowed down a bit, and I help with coaching. I help, if I can, to teach the game to people that want to take it on. I love the game. I've been involved all my life. I just come back from seeing Mayo lose again, unfortunately, in Galway. Pig sick about it, but life goes on. I had a great time in Ireland besides that, so yeah, I've been involved 50 years, and apart from get frustrated with people not having the same commitment to myself, it's been brilliant.
Well, you've never lost your appetite to keep the Irish tradition going here in Leicester?
No, never have done, never will do until they call me up there. I'll be always involved in it somewhere or the other. I love the game, I love the Gaelic, I love the camaraderie of it. A few arguments with different people, but generally speaking, it's been brilliant. I made friends that I've known for over 40 years. Father Ali, who's just been here speaking, he's been a friend of mine all my life, and I couldn't ask for a better man to be friend. He's a fantastic person, he was a fantastic footballer and a great friend, and I'm blessed to have friends like that.
It's great to see the Emerald Centre doing so well, and we wish everyone concerned the very best of luck in the future. Now next up, we're off to catch up with Rob Lally, who's had rave reviews about his mosaic work. Rob, can you tell me, when did you first get involved in mosaic?
Well, I've always had natural ability in art since I was born, but what got me interested in mosaic in the beginning was a storyline in Grange Hill in the late 80s. There was a story within the show, in the script, of a competition in the school where the pupils had to come up with a mosaic design for a swimming pool that was getting built, and whichever design won the competition was the one getting used in the swimming pool. So that was how I got into it originally, and then I went to art college, well, a few years later, tried to do a fine art degree, didn't get accepted on the course, but somebody who was on the course, I started doing mosaic art with them for a while, and then I started doing it on my own.
And how long have you been doing it on your own?
I'd say about 13 years.
Now tell me about some of the people and celebrities that you've actually done work for.
Arnold Schwarzenegger bought one in 2014. He's my biggest, most famous person. I've done work for Rio Ferdinand, Wes Brown when he played for United, Martin Petrov when he played for Man City. I've also had work autographed by a lot of famous Hollywood actors, including Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino, Vinnie Jones, as you can see behind. Recently, Conor McGregor signed a piece, Floyd Mayweather, Paul Scholes. There's quite a few, to be honest.
And I believe you've done a special one as well about Brian Clough.
Oh yeah, I've got Brian Clough. It's on display outside the Notts Forest Stadium.
Now, how much time and effort goes into one of those? Let's say, you know, the Vinnie Jones one, for instance. How much effort and time goes into that before we get the finished product?
I'd say between four and 6 weeks for something like the Vinnie.
Right, okay. And of course you've had Sinead O'Connor as well on your list.
Oh, Sinead O'Connor, she actually got one accidentally. It was in Shane McGowan's suitcase. And her and Victoria were opening the suitcase, and the mosaic was inside because it was actually meant for the Pogues manager while they were on tour. He put it in Shane's suitcase, so Sinead O'Connor wanted it and he had to give it her instead.
Now, you're currently working on a big project for Salford Rugby League Club. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a 7-foot piece. It's going up where the Willows used to be. The Willows is the old Salford Rugby Stadium. It's now a housing complex, and it's going within that housing complex.
So how much time and effort has gone into that?
Well, like I said, it's a 7-foot piece, and I've been working on it about 3 months now, but I'm near to the end.
Okay. Now tell me about your Irish connections.
Well, my parents are from County Mayo, Belmullet, and I've got a connection at the Broadhaven Hotel. I'm looking to be doing a piece for them.
Right, okay, so you do work overseas as well, in Ireland and different places?
Oh, of course, yeah. Anybody who sends me a picture that they'd like doing, it's no problem at all.
You must get great satisfaction out of it when it's all finished and you see the finished product.
Oh, definitely, especially when it's family members who, when they bring the private photos and when they see the finished product, their satisfaction really means a lot.
Now tell us how people can contact you if somebody wanted some work doing by you. How can they find you?
Well, I've got a website. If you want to see any of my other work, it's rialtoceramics.co.uk.
Well done to Rob on his great work and dedication. Now we're going to take a very short break. Don't go away, we'll see you in a few minutes. I'm off inside, see if I can get myself, a little drink. See you soon. Welcome back to the Irish in the UK. Now don't forget, we're here every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock with Henry McGlade for the Irish at home and abroad, and I'm back at 7:30 with the Irish in the UK. Now we're here at Fred's Place in Nottingham tonight, and I've been joined by Nicky James. How are you doing, Nicky?
I'm doing great, Martin. Great to see you again, yeah.
Now tell me, what's going on here tonight?
Well, there's a huge country music show with from New Mexico, the USA, Will Bannister. He was over here about 4 years ago and played the Wembley Festival, Country Music Festival. And also here tonight is Jordan Mogi from the north of Ireland and young Jake Carter, Nathan's younger brother, who's doing absolutely superb, yeah.
Now, I've been out there among the crowd as people are singing tonight. There's Irish people from all parts of Ireland here tonight in Nottingham.
There's from all over the place, and they've travelled a long way to be here tonight. And that's the Irish and country music go together like hand in glove, and it's great that they came, like, and great support, like so.
I never knew that there was such a strong Irish contingent down here in Nottingham.
There's a huge Irish contingent in the whole of the Midlands, the East Midlands, Derby, and all that. There's great Irish centres in Derby and the whole area, and Leicester. You know, there's lots of Irish people down it.
And this weekend has been a really busy one for you, because tell us where you was yesterday.
Yesterday we were in, or even this morning, we were in Invergordon, which is right up in the Highlands of Scotland, up near Inverness, and so we had an 8-hour drive down here to Nottingham to do the show tonight, and we're off to Ireland in the morning. We're heading for Holyhead, and we're on the 2 boat. People will be familiar with that one, right? I always choose that one. I like that one. Gets you into Dublin about 5:30.
Yeah. So and you'll be gigging throughout Ireland then?
Yeah, we start on Tuesday in the world famous Well in Moat. People will know that place. It's a fabulous place. So we're playing there on Tuesday night with Will Bannister, Jake Carter, Jordan Mogi, Carmel Sheeran, Ryan Turner's there, the band, and also a great singer-songwriter from America, Max T. Barnes, who seems to be in Ireland an awful lot these days. He wrote that song, You're Going Out the Same Way You Came In, Big Tom song, and yeah, great songwriter.
Is it raining? Jordan, tell me a little bit about the style of music that you have.
Well, it's old style country. I love the likes of Hank Williams and Webb Pierce, Marty Robbins, Tom Paul and the Glazer Brothers and all them guys, you know. Johnny Cash, all the greats, you know.
Yeah. And you've got an album out at the moment. Tell me about that.
Well, it's called Cowboys and Drifters and Angels. As the title track, I wrote it along with a friend of mine, Howard Crane. There's 12 tracks on it and 7 of them are original, so that's doing quite well at the moment. I've only had it released for a few weeks, so.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck with that. Now, of course, you're here in Nottingham tonight. You're on a UK tour at the moment, but tell us how you're going to be doing over the summertime.
Yeah, well, over the summertime, well, we were in Scotland 2 nights there, and this is our first English gig. We're going back to Ireland tomorrow to do three gigs, then coming back to England to do a few. And then I'll have a couple of weeks off and I'm away with Mary Duff. We're doing a UK tour. So we'll be over England and Wales with Mary Duff.
Well, we want to see you up in Manchester soon, please God.
Hopefully. I'd love to. Love to.
Yeah. Well, look, you're quite a relatively new name in the country music, country and Irish music. We play a lot of your music on our radio show up there in Manchester and everything. And how did you first get involved in singing, and how long have you been singing?
I've been singing for as long as I can remember, to be honest, but professionally probably 4 years now. But I've always been singing, you know. I always loved music and always loved singing. So it's just funny that I got to do it now as my job. It's great. You do something you love.
Was there always music in your family?
Yeah, my older brother was actually a country singer as well. Whenever I was younger, he was from his early teens right up to he was around 21. He was a country singer, you know. So, and I had a lot of uncles that were great singers, and my dad and all loved music and played music in the house all the time, you know.
Now, you come from a very beautiful county up there in Northern Ireland. Tell us where you come from.
County Antrim, beautiful County Antrim. Wee town called Ballymoney. It's famous for motorbikes. Joey Dunlop, if anybody's heard of Joey Dunlop, that's who he made it famous, you know.
And by the way, I still love you. I still love you.
Well, we're having a wonderful night here at Fred's tonight in Nottingham, and I've been joined by certainly one of the tallest people in the place tonight. That's the wonderful Will Bannister. Will, great to see you in England.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Now, you've travelled a long way to be here with us tonight.
I have. I came from New Mexico in the United States. Been a little town called Portales, New Mexico. I've lived there all my life, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, the people certainly enjoyed you being on stage there tonight, and you've got quite a fan club here in England.
Well, every time I've been over here, you know, I've really had a great reception, and everybody's treated me very, very good, and I'm feeling home here, you know.
So how many times have you toured England, or how many times have you been here?
Well, I've been here, I think this is my 5th time.
Okay.
So.
Tell me a little bit about your music.
Well, I grew up listening to the traditional country music, you know, Hank Williams, Merle Haggard, Gene Watson, Vern Gosdin, all that stuff, Marty Robbins, George Jones, all that stuff. And, you know, I just, that's what I've always loved. And so it's kind of a main staple of my music, you know. It's a traditional sound, you know, and, you know, of course, then I write some songs, so, you know, that's the best way I can describe it.
Tell me a little bit about your albums that you've got out at the moment.
I've got 3 albums. The first one's Turned Her On to Country, which is the one I had when I played at the International Festival of Country Music at Wembley. That consists of all the songs on there are songs that I wrote. The next one, I got a couple wrote by my brother, and the CD is called Turn Back Time. The latest one is called What a Way to Live, and we just released that in September this last month, and we're real proud of all of them, and you know, we're going to keep putting out that country music. So.
Now, we know that you're on tour at the moment in the UK and Ireland. How are you enjoying that?
Very much so. Played in Scotland the last 2 nights, and I've never seen so much green in my life. You know, it's very green over there and very pretty. I was up there in around Easter time in 2013, and it looked totally different because there was snow everywhere, you know, it was so white. But, you know, I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the people have all been fantastic.
Well, you're in for a lot of green because I know you're going to Ireland this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm heading to Ireland tomorrow. We're going to hop on a ferry and go over there, and got 3 different shows over there, and I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Great stuff. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Will. Great to meet up with you.
Well, thank you for interviewing me. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Sure.
Well, we've had a wonderful night here. We hope you've enjoyed it at home. That brings us to the end of the show for tonight. And now we're going to play you out with one of Will's favourite songs. Thank you for watching.
Although you're leaving me, a lifetime of grief So give me 1 minute with happiness